What you're looking at here is how I used to store my napkins. It is in this Sterilite carrying case. It's two-tiered, so I could semi-sort out the napkins. This measures 10.5 by about 13, a little bit more, and I love them because they come off. There's the lid. This fits in my IKEA cart. So as a storage system, as a storage container, I love this Sterilite, but I think I've outgrown this storage system for my napkins. And here's why. I'd go through and I'd be looking for the napkin. Now, I get 2 of each one from NinnysNapkins, and I like to keep them together because if I'm doing a project, sometimes I want to use more than what's on one napkin. So I'd be flipping through this. Now what was happening over time is my napkins were getting bent out of shape. The partners they go missing because I pull some. And then once I've used part of the napkin, like in these ones, I would put the single ply. Now the white parts have gone, so now they're even more flimsy, and I'd put them inside here, and then we'd have little pieces like this. We've got bent pieces. I was finding, you know, those little bit of additions just wouldn't stand up. And I wanted to find, I found that I was spending a lot of my time reorganizing, taking it out and sorting them out, putting the pairs back together, flattening them out. And I don't like spending time doing that. I'd rather be spending time creating. So I looked at different storage things that I have because I never get rid of them. I often repurpose them, and as I evolve as a creator and I'm using different things, I use my storage containers for different. So I'm definitely not getting rid of this Sterilite container. This is perfect for when you're traveling. It's perfect for when you go on create dates and different things. So definitely going to keep the Sterilite containers, but I wanted to find a better way of storing my napkins. And that is what I'm going to show you here. So the first step is take out all your napkins. Go onto the kitchen table, large work area, and sort them out like with like. So you've got 2 of the napkin. Typically I have 2 of the napkin. That's when I order from NinnysNapkins. You can get 2. If you've got a whole set of them, put all of them together and just get everything all neatly organized along those lines, like with like, okay? That's pretty simple, but you're gonna need a big work surface if you've got any amount of napkins. Step 2, take the same napkin and tuck one of them into the other. Now, to save bulk, you might think it would be a good idea to peel off the white plies because you're not going to use them anyways. And yes, that will save bulk and storage space, but it also makes the napkin very flimsy and fragile and much more apt to getting damaged while you store it. So I recommend leaving the whites of the napkin, the 2 plies, on as much as possible until you need it. So we're just going to take all your napkins, and no, I'm not making you watch me do it for all of them, and you're just tucking them in, smoothing them out. Now it's pretty quick and easy to do when you have 2 brand new napkins. What you're also going to end up with as you create with napkins is a whole lot of napkins where you have pieces where you've used one section or parts of it. So that part of the napkin is very fragile because, of course, because you've cut it, you've removed those 2 extra plies. So what you want to do is very carefully, and you can see what my other system, one of the downfalls, these got very wrinkled and tattered, and they're just, and while I can still use them, it's just going to make it a little bit more difficult to decoupage them down without getting wrinkles in them. But I'm definitely not going to throw them away. So we're just going to take the time to smooth them out as much as possible. See here, I took the second ply off of this other napkin, and both of these are very flimsy. And they're showing their wear. So I'm just going to fold that in. So taking the time to get it all neat and organized. Again, this one is flimsy. Get it all smoothed out. Tuck them in, do the best you can. So the next thing you want to do is arrange by similar themes. So I have several napkins that have birdhouses. So I'm going to put those together. I have several with poppies. So I'm going to put those all on a stack together. Because when I put them into this organization system, I want the poppies with the poppies and the birdhouses with the birdhouses. I've got, there's another birdhouse one. I've got a variety of peacock ones. Whatever you tend to create with is going to be what you see. We have hydrangeas here. Now, you can organize this. You can put this with hummingbirds, if that's what you think you're going to be using, or hydrangeas. Whatever you choose to do is going to be the right organization system. It has to make sense to only you. So there we have all of them organized. So now we're ready to put these into the page protectors. So the page protectors that I am using are Jesus Fit, a copy-sized piece of paper, and I'm recommending that you put a piece of copy paper inside this. That basically gives you 2 pockets, front and back, to put 2 different napkins. It keeps them separated, and it gives some stability to the page. It just keeps things a little bit more stabilized. So all you're going to do here is put them in. So once you have them all sorted out, and this is not all of mine by any means, but I had all of mine, and I just started putting them into the page protector. Take time to make sure it's smoothed out. Try to keep them as smooth and pristine as possible. And so I'm going to do all my poppies, the old ones and the new ones. The ones where there's little bits, they're flimsy, so you're going to have to be a little more careful. Take time to flatten them out. And I'm pushing that down. So again, this is not difficult. Now, if you don't care if the order of them, you don't have to do any of those steps. Now here, this one's a small cocktail napkin, and this one is just one napkin. I've already used up one whole part of this. So I'm just going to have it share a pocket like that, because they are of the similar theme. But whatever works best for you. Again, because we have cocktail napkins, I'm going to put that separate. Take time, smooth it out. So I'm going to finish that and we'll get to the next step. So once you have them all in the page protectors, now when you do your all over one, you're going to have everything organized exactly in the order you want it. But when you're adding things to your stash, so I'm going to show you that, you're going to be flipping through your book and saying, okay, I have these Easter eggs in Eastery colors. I want them to go with these Easter friend napkins because I think I might create with them. Now this is a 1-inch binder and any binder will work. Even the 1-inch binder, even though this adds, you get a lot of bulk, it will work. The problem with having too small of a binder is when you go to add pages into here, because this is slippery and somewhat flimsy, I found when I did that, if I had any more pages in here, the pages were coming out, and that was just causing me a little bit of aggravation. So I recommend either limiting the number of pages if you've got smaller binders so that you can easily open and close and add pages as you go, without it all falling apart. Or go up to a larger size binder, and that's what I'm going to do. I will go and purchase at the dollar store a larger binder. Now I have this Buddha, so I want to put him into here so that these are together. So if I'm looking for a theme, it's going to be easier to doing that. Now I'm going to show you all the categories that I have at the end of the video. Here's the larger binder that I moved to. I think this is a 3-inch binder. So I want to add hydrangeas. So you can see how easy it is to just flip through, and I have my hydrangeas right at the back, and I can add the page keeping like with like. And I like that. So we have poppies here and sunflowers. So I'm going to, again, we're going to flip and put that like with like, and poppies. So you want a system that's easy to organize and that's going to be easy to put away. And we're going to talk about how this can all work together. I've got spring kind of blossoms here, tulips, daffodils. This binder is basically all my floral napkins. Okay, so here's how this organization system works. You've got it all in your binders. You've got them organized according to the theme, according to category, however, whatever works for you. So you're creating. Either you're at the beginning of the creative process or you're in the midst of it and you have a background or something on the page. You are thinking, okay, I need a focal point or I need a starting point. You can just flip through with the page protectors, and you can see that this is relatively quick process, and you can say, oh, I'm going to take this one. I like the colors. That's going to go with the colors that I've got going on. Maybe this one. Now, when I'm done, I'm going to come back and put them back in here. Now, either you can just go by memory, or you can just take a Post-it note and mark down, you know, just put a Post-it note there, or a piece of tape, piece of washi, something that's just going to mark where they go back into. I don't think that's something I'm going to worry about. So I might pull out, you know, an assortment and take them out. Now, because they're still in the page protectors, they're going to keep the napkins neat and tidy. They're going to prevent paint from getting on the napkins. So they're going to keep everything going. I might take them out, audition them on the page. I might actually even watercut some of them and test them out on the page, because that's part of my process. When I'm done, I will just put them back into the page protectors, and I have a bin that I throw my stencils in, and anything that I've used goes in that bin, and then I organize it, put it back in its place from there. So we're just going to add this. Now, this is all florals, and I'm not going to be too terribly worried if it's not perfectly organized, because this entire binder is floral. But because I have a big binder, well, it's easy enough. The pages aren't sliding, and I can just easily put them back. Now, if I've created with a napkin and I've water cut, sometimes then you end up with these little bits that are completely left over. And so again, I'm going to flip through, find that napkin. There it is. If I've put it back, open this up, and I'm going to tuck these little bits in here, because often I will take and I will add 2 or 3 of these. These are also good for your mini makes, for iCads or ATCs or 4x4 canvases. So I'm going to tuck this all in here. Nothing's going to waste, and it's going to be protected. Perfect. Now, the other thing that sometimes, you know, I start the creative process and I'm just looking for inspiration, and I might be flipping through the pages and I might get an idea. For instance, I might want to make a wreath using some of the focal images on this poppy. So I can take a Post-it note and jot down "make into wreath" on a page. And I can just stick that on the top of the page protector, or I can tuck it in. I can also tuck in, write a sentiment down from a sentiment pack, or I could tuck it in one that I think would look really nice with that. Because I have my sentiment packs and I have often, you know, excess, and I might just tuck it in, and that's going to give me an idea. So the next time as I'm flipping, I might come up with the idea. I might say, oh, I remember that, because I don't know about you, but I come up with ideas and then I go back, what did I want to do with that? So this one I might say, you know what, I want to use this with stencil butters. So I might, again, grab my Post-it note and say, use with coordinating stencil butter colors. So this becomes not just a storage system, but a collection of your ideas, your brainstorming. So what do you do if you have a full pack of a certain napkin? You don't want to put it into the binder. It's just going to be too bulky. And taking out all the white plies, well, I mean, that takes up time that you may never benefit from or for a long time. So here's what I recommend. So I've got these tropical leaf ones, and I actually have more than this. I'm going to take 2 of them and treat them as I have all of them. And I'm tucking this with my other tropicals because maybe I'm going to use them. And then what I will do is put a piece of tape, some washi tape, something that I know is going to say, the rest, I've got more of these, they are in the bin, and I'm going to keep the extras in a bin that's not in my immediate work area. This, my binders with all my napkins, is going to be right handy and close. I'm going to be reaching for that all the time. So I also have these black and white napkins that I got at the dollar store that I think would be great for decoupaging. So what I'm going to do is I will take a couple of them. I'm just opening them up again to remove the bulk because they're the purse size ones. I'm going to put them there and put a post-it note telling me that there are extras in the bin when I want. So if I use one of these, I will go and replace it from the bin. So let's go over the categories I have. But remember, you pick categories that make sense to you. What you use to create with is what it needs to represent. So this binder is all my florals. And I've arranged magnolias with magnolias and poppies with poppies. Sometimes the colors are the same. We've got tulips together or spring blossoms, fall, along those lines. And because it's in the binder, I can add a sheet if I get more poppy ones. We're going along like that. But you can see that it's relatively easy to flip and search for one. Now these ones are kind of florals, but I put them together because they're similar in color. That fall. So that is the one binder. This binder is a collection, and right now this is too small. I am going to upgrade this one to a larger, I'll probably buy another 3-inch binder. Again, the pocket protector, you don't need the heavy duty expensive ones. Not for this. Same thing, binders. You don't need to spend a lot of money. Dollar store finds. So we've got tropical, ocean, we've got maps, world travel, and you know what? I've got this printable. I'm just going to tuck that in there because I'm thinking that could go together. Maybe. We've got people. Some of these are a bit more random. These are focal images that I have one of. And probably unlikely to get more of the same theme. So we have the Easter, and we've organized it. Now here, these are napkins that can go on any page as a layer, adding interest and mark making. Music notes, script with gold, silver, gold, bling. These are ones that also might be Insta backgrounds, that napkins that you can use, you know, to form the background of your page. So that's what is in there. Oh, I see, I did have that. So we'll just take that out. That can go into the stash. Now this is a presentation pocket binder, and with sheet protectors, and there's 20 sheets in there, and this is actually where I started because I had this from my teaching days and I thought, oh, I could use it for this. And if you have this and you would rather spend money on new art supplies than an organization thing, that will work. The problem with this is you cannot take the page protectors out. They are stitched in here. So you would not be able to add, without taking other things out, more birdhouse ones, or you can't take it out in the creative process. And I like it working that way. So again, this will be turned into be put into a binder. But here we have things with wings, basically. We've got birds, and I've got birds with birdhouses. We've got hummingbirds, peacocks, owls, and then other birds that I can use. We've got roosters, dragonflies, bees, and butterflies, and angels. And then I also have Christmas ones. So they're all together. I hope this system for organizing napkins works for you. I think it does some key things. It keeps your napkins neat and tidy and keeps them from being damaged. It also makes them very easy to look through and get your hands on, which gives you more time for actually creating the page. It also gives you a system for putting keeping the little bits that are left over while you are creating. This can just sit on my shelf at arm's reach, because this is something that I will be reaching for a lot in my creative process. I hope if you give this a try, you give me a comment, let me know how it works for you, give me any other suggestions.